maestro from Milano, Sancho.
Well, I'm just gonna do a bit of a post-match reaction now. I'm knackered, my voice is ruined after Wednesday and tonight, but what an FA Cup tie that was. We've just left St Andrews, we're going back to the car to drive back, but yeah, that was a proper FA Cup tie. Both teams went on it. Class game overall. Atmosphere was absolutely bouncing. That was the FA Cup at its best. We could have easily went out, but we got through. Fantastic. Cheers, Jimmy. Yeah, brilliant. Great to be through into the fifth round. Just got to say, Willock 2 assists, 3 key passes. He was fantastic. Great performance. Man of the match. I'd either give it to Joe Willock or Jacob Murphy. Tonali calmed it down, he came on, but Jacob Murphy absolutely changed that game when he came on. It's good to see Bruno change for Tonali. It was probably deliberate. Worried when Isaac came on at the end because you don't want him to get injured. But yeah, fantastic. And it was great for Willock to put that away because he did get some rough tackles in that game. Some were complaining at the ref, but it was a proper FA Cup tie, everyone getting stuck in. And yeah, it was worrying. The only negative is probably seeing Dan Burn go off with a groin injury. But other than that, yeah, Pope's kicking had were a bit worried and anxious early on, a bit iffy, but quality shone through in the end, and we just got through. So yeah, fantastic. Into the fifth round, and we'll see how we get on Monday. But anyway, going back to the car because I'm soaking. Bye for now.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Magnificent Mags channel. Please continue to like, share, subscribe and turn on notifications for the latest content. And also do so for my friends over at Magpie 24/7 and Magpie Ultras. Thank you very much for watching this video in advance. And it's going to be my post-match reaction to Newcastle United's 3-2 win at Birmingham City in the FA Cup 4th round on Saturday evening. Hi everyone, I apologise that firstly that this video is today on a Monday and not yesterday. However, I do have to explain that you would have seen the weather at the match on Saturday down Birmingham. It was chucking down all day. That's from the moment we got into Birmingham, parked the car up, went to the Cricketers' Arms pre-match. It was freezing cold. And no better walking at the ground, being stuck at that away end. And then in the ground, yes, we were covered, but it was freezing cold. Even though there was a bloke in front of us saying that his toes were frozen. Mine were too, but he even had thermal socks on. That's how bad it was. And then chucking down all the way back to the car park. Took ages to get out and didn't get home till 1 a.m. And then yesterday I woke up feeling like death. I'd lost my voice, which was probably a combination of Wednesday night semi-final win and Saturday. And I just had no energy whatsoever, so I wouldn't have been able to commit to this video. So I slept most of yesterday. But anyway, getting into it, yeah, Newcastle United, in the end, got the job done. That was a proper FA Cup tie. Bloody, thunderous, crunching tackles, going up, clashes of heads. A player got injured, which we hope wasn't a broken leg. I'll need to check that, and I'll post the comment if he's okay after. But I haven't had a chance to check it at the moment, but I hope their Birmingham player is all right. But it wasn't a Newcastle player's fault. He went for the challenge and injured himself. But that said, I hope he's all right. Yeah, players getting chucked to advertising hoardings. First Willock, then Fabian Schär. But you know what? It was a good old throwback. It looked like classic 70s, 80s, and then even my era 90s and 2000s for a time. Especially 90s and that. Like thunderous challenges, like just fouls and all this, like players shoving each other. You just want that in FA Cup tie. Home crowd, raucous atmosphere, everyone up for it. And 5,000 in the away end against Birmingham's. I think they had 22,000 home fans. If I remember right, the attendance was 27 and a bit thousand. So could say it was around 22,000 home fans. But it was brilliant. Honestly, it was. I mean, it wasn't brilliant getting there. I've got to say this beforehand. The away end's bloody awful. Now, I know there was 5,000 fans, but it's like a segregation. You're bottlenecked. So you walk in, and it's block 8, like area 8, and you're going in, but then you're just funneled in, and then there's police, and then there's stewards, and they'll hold their arms out in a line, and they'll let you in at certain times when you're going in. And it was in sections, but it was awful, because when you get through all that, we were next to the Newcastle's first team coaches on the left-hand side, but then, yeah, you get taken in blocks, and then another block, and then another block, then you get to the turnstile. But a good thing was, as you've seen at the start of this video, there was a DJ when we're walking into the UN, which I've never seen, just on the right, and he was playing Sam Fender. So that was a nice touch. I've got to say, thoroughly enjoyed it, but a lot of issues though. One, again, the away end, and we were there, despite some protestations that some were only turned up last minute from the pub. We were there at like 10 to 5 to 5. We went there early, plenty of time in advance, and we still got stuck in the queues. And we just thought it was weird, like that much of a bottleneck over it. Like basically, some were queuing from an hour before kick-off at 5:45. So yeah, not ideal. Troy Deeney as well. I've just got to go back to him. He's got an absolute cheek saying Newcastle United is an undesirable place to live. Absolute shithole what Birmingham is. There's no other word for it. It's a shithole. Like driving in, small heat. Oh my God, it's just awful. As I've been to Wolves and I've been to Villa before, but this just honestly it took the mick. Yeah, we drove in, then up this hill and then right where it took you to the road where the stadium is. But it was just full of weeds, flooding everywhere, run-down area, rubbish everywhere, windows put out, honestly, absolute dump. And he had the cheek to call Newcastle. That was a laugh, just thinking how Troy Deeney's got the nerve to call us. They weren't allowed to bring in a flag, and the Bens just wanted to bring in a flag, but it hasn't got fire-resistant tags on it, which I find nonsense, because they said apparently if it's on a stick it'll be fine. But they made a right issue of it, and they said keep it on the away coach until you go back. The problem was they were driving back, so that was madness. And the other thing that didn't make sense is you're wearing like clothing, coats, you know, like the coats that are like puffy, but they've got that material that's like really shiny. That could easily set on fire. Scarves can set on fire. And they were saying, what if there's a flare in the away end? Well, everyone was getting patted down before you went in, so how was anyone getting a flare in? So that didn't make sense. And then we thought they had a good system when you're in there. Rather than going straight to the bar and getting your drinks or food, you've got to go to these machines. And then you can order on the machine your food and drink, anything. So like coffees, alcohol, pies, snacks, like confectionery and that. Which we thought, oh, that's good. You could order it now and you take your receipt up to the till, and then it saves you having to like give your order, as you know at home games, and then the type and everything in the till, then people either getting change out or you're like going through getting your card out and that. This is a good system. We thought that would work, and it also had an option on the screen for half time, so you thought, all right, you can go down at half time and you've got your receipt straight away. You're in that queue, you go at the front, job's a good one. But my God, half time was an absolute shambles. Jimmy went down a little bit earlier. He went down about, say, 43 minutes, like that. I'd got them for half time, but he needed the toilet anyway, so he went down with his with a receipt. But it was an absolute joke. Like even when we got down, when the whistle went, he was something like 6th or 7th. And the problem was they had about a dozen people working behind each section of the bar, but there was 2 members of staff on, and then there was 10 just standing at the back doing absolutely nothing but chatting. And the chants were right, which were brilliant. All the fans were singing, "We want our money back, we want our money back," which was a crease. And then all the fans then turned to the staff when they weren't all coming to help out and going, "You're getting sacked in the morning, sacked in the morning." So yeah, that was a laugh, but they're the gripes. But on to the game. They had a weird pyrotechnics display at the start, the whole fire thing which we've seen at Villa Park. I mean, that was a good feature, I'll say, and the fact that it kept the away end warm, because it was bloody freezing. But I'm not entirely sold on this whole fireworks thing and all this, and the light display, and the bloke singing the whoever he was, he went winding the away end up. He's posted a video. Don't even know how you are, mate. It's like, you're a nobody. But the fact that he's doing them songs beforehand, it was like being back in Liquid Envy in 2008-9, or Bar 42, or Mushroom Bar. I'm sure you all remember Liquid Envy. Used to be End of the Night nightclub, which those of you a bit older remember the old Tiffany's. I guess it's because they've got an American owner and Tom Brady, so yeah, weird. But going on to the game, didn't start well, did it? Makeshift team. You thought, I had a feeling would concede, just FA Cup tied up for it. Top of League One, they had nothing to lose. And yeah, we went behind really early on. They got a corner, whipped it across, headed back over, and Ethan Laird put it in off the underside of the bar. And we just thought, wow, didn't expect to concede inside a minute. But Newcastle rallied. There were some frustrating points, I'll say them now. Yes, Nick Pope, again, he'd come back in after Dubravka's been in form. His kicking was frustrating, caused anxiety, giving it straight their players are out to play. Again, that's a side of his game. If he can't improve it by now, it'll never improve. But he made some big stops. I've got to say, later in the game, he did obviously make that save down at his right from that chance late on. So it was good. And then the rest, I don't think he had too much to do. But we got back on level terms. Look, Longstaff was frustrating in possession, giving it away, looking lackadaisical at times. But soon we're on level terms. A great ball forward by Dan Burn. Callum Wilson with a great turn. Ran forward. Could have maybe played in target, but target maybe have just straight offside, so Wilson realised that. Played across the back post. Knocked back in by Asula. And then it was bundled over the line just by Joe Willock. Now, as you would have seen by the away end's reaction, if you in the away end, we didn't react for about 20-30 seconds. We didn't even know that it was given as a goal, but then we saw that the linesman had flagged. Now, was it a goal? I think Birmingham fans have a right to feel harshly done by. Looking at that and see why the linesman's give it with his naked eye in real time, but without VAR, you can't really see if it was fully over the line. And the linesman, again, human, he might have made an error. He had to make a split-second decision. He made that. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Did I think it was fully over? Looking back now, because you didn't know in the stadium, possibly not. But am I going to complain? No. Like I said, sometimes you'll get them, sometimes you won't. We might have another one against Willock in the season, but I'm not complaining. And then from then on, we're pushed on. A great ball, this time by Nick Pope. William Asula done an absolutely brilliant turn. Got to say, he had a class game. And great turn by Asula. Ran all the way through. Got a shot away. Peacock Farrell saved it. He held it up. Waited for teammates. Laid it off to Longstaff. Longstaff played it through the lines for the overlapping Livramento. He played it across. Willock knocked it back in. Somehow Asula missed it on the line, but then left it for Coventry-born Callum Wilson, who would have loved scoring that goal against Birmingham City, being a Midlands lad. And do you know what? That was actually Wilson's first ever FA Cup goal for his first ever FA Cup appearances, and I'm sure he signed it's been 2019, so first time in 6 seasons, 6 years, Wilson's played and scored in the FA Cup. But as we said before, without injuries, quality player, all-round, brilliant striker. And Wilson does what Wilson does. Got way ahead. Now, did they have other chances around that? Of course they did. Jay Stansfield, he put a header wide. Nick Pope was rooted. He was unlucky with that one. Keshi Anderson, he had another effort where Pope had to go down to his right and a big strong hand on it. And Birmingham were always in it that first half. They were causing more problems with set pieces, long balls. They caused very manner of issues. And we thought, can we see it through to half time? Maybe see it out. But, my God, what an equaliser that was right in front of us. Most of us stood there and applauded it. It was that good. Put the ball in. Target-headed it. Created the Japanese player, Tomoki Iwata. What a strike that was. I know it bounced. It was on the half volley. But for FA Cup game, honestly, just any game, just to pull out a strike like that, that was unbelievable. And there was no stopping that from Nick Pope. So yeah, Birmingham on level terms. Went in at half time. I thought, you know what, they deserved it. Then it got the second half. Obviously, we knew it would be a tougher game because there was lots of changes. Tonali came on for Bruno. And you know what, just seeing the difference that Tonali makes. Not saying Bruno was poor, but Tonali's just absolute quality. And he just controlled that game. Let nothing affect him, whether it was bad challenges, confrontations, anything like that. I just oozed class. He was just a level above everyone else. And special mention as well, Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy changed that game, in my opinion, when he came on. He terrorised them. And no surprise to see that he was involved in all the main play, especially the winner. Murphy got it out, and then he done the little drag back through his legs. Played it wide to Lewis Miley. Well, played it across into the half space to Lewis Miley, I should add. Then he gave it to Willock. Willock played across to Tino. Tino into Longstaff. Longstaff still involved in the second and third goal. Longstaff got his foot in to win the possession, and it fortunately broke to Willock, who just slammed it in past Peacock Farrell. And from then on, Newcastle really controlled the game. There was not many chances, not much quality second half from Birmingham. got the winner, and then we just saw the game out from there. Despite there being, I know there was the injury and everything, but it was ludicrous having about at least 12 minutes of added time. I think it was 15 in the end after another stoppage. So yeah, that game went on to 105 minutes. But Newcastle United seen it out. In the end, job done. Best players, as I said, Jacob Murphy was fantastic. He changed that game when he come on. He terrorised them. He had the chance where he went round the keeper. Maybe he could have pulled it back, but I don't blame him for that. And then Willock, he's got all the makings to be a good player, you know. He's raw. He's a wild card. He makes things happen. He creates chances for himself. He's step overs. He's powerful. He's strong. He's a bit like Joe Linton, you could say, but he kind of has he might have a bit more of an end product, you could say, than Joey. But yeah, it was brilliant to see Asula showing that he can cut it, at least against League 2, League 1. Next, you'd think, could he do it against the Championship team? But he's still raw. He's got all the makings to be a great player. He had a fantastic game. And then, yeah, Tonali was just different class when he came on. But man of the match, for all the abuse he's had this week and for getting 2 goals, you've got to give it to Joe Willock. Joe Willock was fantastic. He was running everywhere. That run, when that first half where he was on the left and then just ran all the way through them and played it to Asula, honestly. Willock was just full of pace, power, running, and he had 2 end products. So hats off to him for his goal, and especially at the end of a tough week. So Newcastle United are through, went to the hat for the 5th round. And a couple of stats, it's all tongue-in-cheek, but Craig Hope did post it. Newcastle United are the last team in England who can win the domestic treble. But, I mean, the treble I'd like would be Champions League and win both cups. Why not? Liverpool are out, Chelsea are out, Arsenal are out. Well, just wait and see. The draw's tonight, 7:10 on BBC One in the middle of the One show. So we'll all see with anticipation who we get. But that's it from me for now. I'm going to go. Take care, everyone. And I'll be back on Friday for my preview when we face Manchester City. Bye-bye for now.